Welcome everybody to this 9th chapter. This 9th chapter is about generating the absolute bodhicitta. So today we are on page 152. It's stanza 105. Last two lines on the stanza 105. So, before we begin, again, according to Rinpoche, this whole chapter, 9th chapter, which is for generating absolute bodhicitta, is divided into 4 sections. First, wisdom established by the means of the view. This is wisdom chapter. Second, wisdom experienced by means of meditations. Third, misconceptions dispelled through reasoning. Fourth, benefit of realizing emptiness, actualizing the wisdom. The first section we discussed already. Today, the second section, wisdom experienced by means of meditations. In this second category, we talked about meditation on the absence of self in individual, basically self. Non-existence of this self, meditating on that. That in detail we already discussed. Today, meditation on the absence of self in phenomena, emptiness of phenomena, no-oneness. Not only the self that we cling on to is non-existent, but also the outer phenomena, inner this body, all in fact are empty. So today we are on that subject. On that subject, there are 4 sections we discuss. Close mindfulness of the body, close mindfulness of the feeling, and close mindfulness of mind, close mindfulness of phenomena. Among these 4, we already discussed first 3, and today, close mindfulness of phenomena. That has to do with the realization of phenomena as empty in nature. So, these last 2 lines on the stanza 105 reads, thus the origins of all phenomena exceeds the reach of understanding, basically all emptiness. And this close mindfulness of phenomena, empty phenomena, now continues from this stanza 106 through stanza 110 through that. Begin with first 2 stanzas here. are the refutations to the objections raised for two truths. Now, you must remember that the subject of this chapter is wisdom, generative wisdom. In order to generate wisdom, one must know the nature of phenomena. In order to know the nature of phenomena, here Shantideva, as the Prasangika Madhyamaka philosopher or practitioners, posits this so-called true truth. In true truth, explain the phenomena. Two truths, relative truth and ultimate truth. Relative truth has to do with the appearance of phenomena. It doesn't go further than that, just the appearance of phenomena. And absolute truth has to do with now understanding the true nature of that apparent phenomena. That is, form is emptiness. Appearance is empty, empty is form. Understanding that nature of appearance is, or nature of phenomena, nature of, the true nature of appearances is the absolute truth, empty nature. That is absolute truth. So here, in two ways, Madhyamaka philosophy, philosophers understand the whole phenomena in terms of truth. Okay. Now, what we are really here, Madhyamaka philosophers, trying to do is they're not trying to negate the appearances of phenomena, of course not. Appearances are there. Here the whole point is ordinary beings do not leave appearances in the place of appearance, so to speak. So much grasping on the appearances, good or bad, beautiful or ugly. So much things, something to be rejected, hate, something to be kind of get to, desire. All these things, we are not leaving the appearances in their own place. So because of that, as we say, appearances are the knot which bounds us to samsara, but our grasping mind to the appearances. Yes. So Madhyamaka philosophers here talking about emptiness, systematically establishing all phenomena as empty, is in order to reduce that grasping mind, that attribute that we make to the appearances, so that so much grasping mind to the appearances will be reduced, and at the same time, the appearances, its nature, one will realize is empty. Regular, those who have so much attachment, so much desire, so much grasping basically to the objects, because we never caution the mode of existence, the appearances. So therefore, all these emotions pops up. Here, when you caution them, and something happens, you come to the recognition, in fact, these phenomena, as I grasp them, they do not have really, in their true nature, really existent out there. So therefore, here, Madhyamaka philosopher, Shantideva, has been talking about how everything is empty in nature, how sentient beings grasping mind to those empty phenomena as real, existent, has been very wrong. Of course, don't forget, we started that wrong view is grasping on self, which do not exist. Realizing that self not existent. From there on, not only that, but all phenomena are empty. So we talk about so much we've been talking about the empty nature, empty. Here on stanza 106, some kind of cautions the others who have this grasping mind to objects may raise these kind of questions. Actually, these are not raised by other beings. There's specific somebody who raised this question, but it's our own questions here. Their question is, if this is so, you say, everything is empty, if this is so, there's no relative then. And then the two truths, what becomes of them? If everything is empty, then how can you say that there is relative truth? If there's no relative truth, then there's no absolute truth, then two truths you're trying to establish cannot be there. So answer to this question is that Madhyamaka philosophers not negating the appearances again, simply saying that they do not have two modes of existence as we grasp on them. Just the appearances, just the phenomena is not negated. In fact, there's a wonderful saying by Chandrakirti. We do not deviate to the holy beings, regular beings. If they say something there, or this is that, this is this, do not negate them. Just let them be what they say. The appearances of phenomena, nobody is questioning. Appearances is there. But when you look into the appearance of phenomena, how they come into existence, do they really have any existence? When you examine that, and you found their true nature, which is empty. So here, Madhyamaka philosophers, establishing emptiness in reality, in absolute truth, everything is empty. But at the same time, nothing is denying. It's there, appearance is there. There's a water which quench my thirst. There's a food which fill my stomach. Nothing, no, Madhyamaka philosophers negate that. That is the way things are. In fact, because everything is empty, everything is empty, so these things happen. All these things, all this functioning, because of empty, these things happen. Not negating. There is, on the relative truth, everything is there. Everything is there. Now, what we talked about last time, I said to you, there are 8 kind of examples in Madhyamaka philosophers, use. There are like dream, like reflections, let's say reflections in the water, moon reflections in the water, and one's own kind of face that one see in the mirror. Everything is there, nothing is, you are negating, everything is there, but at the same time, when you look at it, there's not the true existence. It's not there. When you put your hand in the water, of course, there's no reflections can be found like that. The true existence is not there, but appearance is always out there. It's not negating that. Yeah. Second 2 lines. Moreover, if the relative derives from being's mind, how can they pass beyond their sorrows? So again, another question is raised. If relative truth is derived from being's mind, and then how they can pass beyond sorrows? Answer to this question is that when one examines the phenomena, question the phenomena, how they exist, do they have anything really existent out there? When one truly, by questioning this and systematically understanding that there isn't anything really that existent in their true nature in the phenomena. When you really understand that, then something happens to our minds. All this attachment, all this ego clinging mind happen to be there because sentient beings not realize phenomena's true nature as empty. When they realize that these are empty, and that mind which realize the true nature of phenomena as empty, and his or her mind's stream will be liberated. The attachment will be reduced, grasping minds will be reduced, become ever more free, your mind. That's the whole point. So these things will happen. Okay. So that's the question for that. Until, so that here stanzas continues. Until one have this, ordinary mind, appearances of phenomena will not cease to exist. Appearances of phenomena will be there. Sentient beings, because of our own habit, appearances of phenomena will be there. Here, Chitta Mantra is cool. Let me just tell you this, how they posit the phenomena. This consider a kind of a good way to understand how things works. Chitta Mantra school is explained in terms of 3 things: dependent phenomena, imputed phenomena, and all established phenomena. Dependent phenomena, they said that everything what we see out there are like our dreams. Mind-only school, actually, Chitta Mantra schools are known as mind-only school. Our dream is simply manifestation of our habits that are stored in our alaya consciousness. And at night time, whatever habits we have stored in our alaya consciousness simply manifest, and we have a dream experience. Dependent, that dream experience is dependent on our alaya consciousness. Likewise, all phenomena that we see, that we hear, these all phenomena are in fact like the dream. All these are manifestation of our own minds, which came from alaya consciousness, where we have stored all these mental habits from the beginningless lifetimes. Whatever we have stored in our alaya consciousness, this is simply manifesting as the outer form that we see, sound that we hear, and everything is simply manifestation of our own mind from alaya consciousness. So that is how mind-only school talks about how phenomena, that we perceive objects are like a dream, that's in fact no different than one's own dream. It's called dependent phenomena. And then goes on imputed phenomena. Imputed phenomena is simply then what ordinary people make of these objects. These objects that are manifestation of our own mind, now we impute as having some kind of I, me, like that. Imputed phenomena. And then mind-only school, Chitta Mantra school, says there's yet another all-established self-knowing consciousness is there. That is the ultimate truth. From this, everything arises. So, not accepting any independently existent phenomena out there, but everything as one's own mind's manifestations. So, as long as, here is Shantideva said, if subsequently there are thoughts, the relative is still there. If not, the relative has ceased indeed. As long as there is kind of mental habits is stored there, this will manifest into form. Relative truth will continue. The appearances of phenomena will continue. And at the same time, will there be a time the relative phenomena cease to exist? Yes. When one awakens, when one do not, now not anymore with one through meditation, if one do not store in this alaya consciousness anymore, these mental habits, and slowly all the habits will be eradicated. And when one awakens to Buddha phenomena, awaken and become Buddha, so all phenomena is Buddha phenomena. So at this very place, ordinary phenomena that are appearing cease to exist, become this very phenomena as a pure phenomena instead, right? Until then, the relative phenomena continues. Relative truth continues. Here, the whole point of Shantideva's teachings, as relative truth continues, this relative truth is just relative appearance of phenomena. These do not have any self-existence out there. So therefore, one's kind of clinging to these phenomena as real is something wrong. Okay. Stanza 108 is, now I'll a little bit faster because here, this is stanza is that if everything is empty, then why, how the examining, give so much reasoning, looking into phenomena, isn't that wrong if everything is phenomena, Answer to this question is, as this says, it is on the basis of conventional consensus that all investigation is expressed. It just has to do with whatever we accept, you and I accept that these things exist. So we attribute so much there. So these phenomena, we just examine on these phenomena. Stanza 109 from talks about, well then if, again they raise the question, if the analysis, examination is needed, once examine things, outer objects, and then there must be another thing which examine the analysis that you are making, the very analysis that you are making. That analysis must be also examined. If that needs to be examined, then it will be kind of endless, thing. So here, answer to that question is, well, the examining is needed, analysis is needed, and once you analyze the object, and once you realize that objects do not have independent existence, and then something happened to your own mind that is examining. This examining mind will be liberated. As Shantideva said, neither existence nor non-existence out there. So there's nothing remains for my mind to grasp. So when first examining this analysis is needed to examining things. And once you realize that phenomena do not exist as the thing, as the way you thought, you realize the empty nature of phenomena. And when that happened, your mind is already liberated. And now no more examining is needed. This kind of examining, this kind of reasoning has to do with somehow to destroy this grosser level of this misunderstanding. Once this grosser level misunderstanding is eliminated, then that's it. We don't need. So sometimes we say Dharma is like a ferry boat. Ferry boat is needed to cross the ocean of samsara. Once you already cross the ocean of samsara, in this regard, once you already know the phenomena, then any more examination is not needed. And examining again further is not necessary because mind is already liberated. Okay. That is close mindfulness phenomena. Now we come to the main category. Misconceptions dispelled through reasoning. Dispelled through reasoning. Okay. That is from stanza 111. Through 115. Here simply rejecting to those who believe the true existence of object and subject. Object phenomena, subject mind, true existence. Here the stanza reads, those who say that both are true are hard pressed to maintain their case. So anyway, if you think that both outer phenomena and inner subject mind exists, and here Shantideva would ask, how can you say that things exist? And if your answer is, well, I can see things, I can hear things, my mind can kind of perceive the object phenomena. If you said that, then another question is that, then what reason do you have that your mind, this consciousness who sees, who hears things exists first? Do you have any reason for that? And if you say that, well, mind exists because I can see things, I can hear things. If that's your reason that mind exists, then that's not a good reason. If mind exists in relation to the objects that you are seeing things, then you are simply saying this is a dependent phenomena. Dependently, because of the object, mind arises. If that's the case, then mind is definitely not true self-existent out there. It's dependently arising. So your thought of true existence, the phenomena and mind cannot be carried out. So here, the reason is that interdependently arising. If something dependently arising, then it's not arising. Here, whole point of Shantideva, Madhyamaka philosopher, saying that on a relative level, everything is interdependently arising. Let's imagine your reflection in the water. What do you need? The pot. You need water. You need your face. You need a mind that which sees the reflections. All these things interdependently arising. If all these if things depend on each other, interdependently arising, then there's that is the reason that there's nothing that's existent, truly existent outside from there. Everything, when causes and conditions gather, just happen to be like that, the reflection. Now, from here, stanza 116 to stanza 125. From here is very important subject. This is that in Madhyamaka philosophy, establishing phenomena as empty. We usually say that Jula Chupa Dorji Semirikpa, which means the investigation of the cause, that reasoning, investigation of the cause, because everything arises from a cause. How everything arises from the beginning, If there's no arising from the beginning, then rest is easy. So there cannot be existent, it cannot be ceasing. So first things, how things arise is very important. So understand that at the beginning, things do not arise, except interdependently, the things like existently, something in existent, things do not arise at the beginning. When you actually examine how things arises, and you come to know things just arises, interdependently arises. You cannot find a reason or how they arises. You cannot establish something that's existent out there. It just happened to be like that. So investigation of the cause is called diamond splinter argument, or Vajra prong, reason of Vajra prong, no one is. Investigating how things arise, at the beginning. So in this regard, we talk about 4 kinds of reasoning. First reasoning is phenomena not arising from themselves. Phenomena cannot arise from themselves. From a seed to result, from grow from the seed, how is something arises from itself, Phenomena not arising from phenomena themselves. If they arise, is something already existent in the seed or non-existent in the seed arises. If it's existent in the seed, then no reason, that happened to be, result from that seed. If it's existent, no reason. If it's non-existent, then anything non-existent give rise to something else. Then this is just interdependent arising. So anyway, first is reasoning is like that. And second, we say phenomena not arising from something other than themselves. Something arise from something other than themselves. Something from other. If that's the case, then phenomena can appear from anything and everything. There's no really cause and causality do not exist there. Because from other than themselves, it's a cause. Likewise, then phenomena neither arise from both of these, from both of these do not arise. From none of these, there's another way, there's no way to arise. So these we call, Vajraprong reasoning, basically investigating how things arise. Because if one truly realizes things do not arise at the beginning and things do not remain in the middle, so on and so forth. And then we say, Madhyamaka philosopher talks about investigating on the nature is the great interdependent arguments, how everything arises interdependently. That's one argument that establishing phenomena as empty. Another argument again is the investigation of the result, how the results already exist in the cause or not exist in the cause. So that investigating the nature, investigating the cause, investigating the result, and we call tamchila choba tendre chembo, which means tamchila choba chiktuder, which means investigating the whole phenomena in terms of multiple or single. Do things exist as a one entity or many? If it's a one entity, if you say things exist in one entity, cannot say that because we can separate things. Chariot is used as an example. Carry things around. If you say it's one entity, exists in one entity, you can part different part. There's a wheel part, there's something, this part, that part, there's a different part. If you say chariot exists by many, multiple, and again, if you take out that, wheel part, that, everything take apart, then where is chariot? So like that, all existent phenomena can be examined like that. Each phenomena has its own direction, up and down, right and left. Each phenomena, when you examine, do they exist as a single or do they exist as many? Really, think about those things. It's very interesting to think about. And things do not exist as a one entity. Things do not exist as a multiple. So through that way, Madhyamaka philosophers establish the emptiness of all phenomena. Okay. From here, the first is that negating something, those who believe that things just happen to be there, there's no cause. Of course, things have cause. Causes, conditions are the, everything give rise to everything. So if there's no cause, then, it's not right. In everyday perception, there is a cause for everything. The different segments of the lotus flower arise from a variety of causes. And all these things, basically, we say the beautiful colors of the peacock's feather and patterns on peacock's feather, each and every has its own causes and conditions, except we do not know them. Everything arises from. Everything do not arise from no cause. Everything has a cause. Now, from stanza 118 through stanza 125 is something very important. Here, the teaching is about based on some religious belief. Some at the time of Shantideva, they believed that there was a creator, and that creator is permanent. That creator is godlike, and then everything created. Here, Shantideva, what is teaching is everything that happens to us, to anything, always has a cause and condition. Do not ever think things come from no cause. But at the same time, do not have a misunderstanding that there is some kind of creator. The fundamental issue in Buddhist, the Buddhist people have with other religions. No? There isn't any external beings who are creating. If there is any other beings, and then here systematically he talks about what is that being, the divinity, who's that, who is creating that divinity, that permanent phenomena that you accept, and then creating something that is not permanent, and cause and result, they're kind of different. So all these arguments are laid out here. Again, there's no our external creator. From stanza 126 through 140 is this teaching sometimes not that relevant. We say that on the stanza 26, the second line, third line on the stanza 126 reads, the samchayas are the one who hold that permanent prakriti is the cause of the evolving world. And there's such a school in ancient India, Samchaya school, who believe that there's permanent cause for everything that appears. So in terms of 25 aspects of this kind of thing, they explain the whole phenomena. And that prakriti is pleasure, pain, and neutrality, so-called, are qualities which, when they rest in equilibrium, are termed prakriti. The universe arises when this balance is disturbed. So in terms of those phenomena, some kind of prakriti. And then from that, when it's when its balance is disturbed, then all phenomena are rising. So again, that is just some kind of school, some kind of doctrines that made these things up. None of these things are important, Shantideva say. Everything do come from cause and condition. There's no such thing as those things. Okay. So here stanza 141 reads, therefore, as we see through such investigation, nothing is that does not have a cause, and nothing is existent in its cause, taken one by one or in the aggregate. It does not come from somewhere else, neither does it stay nor yet depart. And basically, do not think that there is a creator. Do not think that there is like some Chaya school believe this such doctrine and explain phenomena. None of these things are true. And everything appear from causes and condition interdependently. Everything arises. Okay. Nothing arises from no cause. Everything has a cause. All these things. Okay. Now from here is the investigation of the natural phenomena with a great interdependent argument. Great interdependent argument. So interdependent argument is the most important thing. Everything arises from interdependently. That has to do with just depend one on another. For example, if you think about this house, depend on many factors. First, of course, would have depend on somebody who wants to build this house. Without that, cannot exist. Second, architect, this kind of imagination of this house. Third, and so on and so forth, really. Without the plywood, how can this exist? And all these things, when you think about it, everything is from causes and conditions. Many things gather together, and then such house came into existence. And interdependently arising, really. Think about these things in detail is sometimes very important. While it's built house, when you look at this house, when you bring these kind of logics, what is house? If this wall is a house or ceiling is the house. Well, obviously, wall is not house. Ceiling is not house. And I don't know, the floor is not house. And none of these things are house. Then where is house again? So those things, interdependently arising phenomena. And then at the same time, when you examine things, we just designate conceptually. So I want to say you here that there's a beautiful saying of Nagarjuna, that which we quote all the time. This is Nagarjuna said, which means there's nothing that is not interdependent. Everything is interdependent. As long as everything is interdependent, and they are empty. Because of interdependent, so everything is empty. Buddha himself said that Kanshi Chen Chipa Temachi Tela Cheviranjin Yomai. When things arise from conditions, when you look at it, they do not really arise. When things arise from anything arise from causes and conditions, when you really look into them, examine closely, things never arises. How they arise if you examine, they just arise. There's no such thing as arising from causes conditions. You cannot objectifying that there's existence of some kind of arising from causes and conditions. So anyway, the main thing you remember that Nagarjuna is saying that there's nothing that's interdependently arising. Everything is arising interdependently. As long as interdependently arising, and these phenomena are not existent out there, these phenomena are empty. Because of empty nature, interdependently arises. From stanza 145 through 150 is now examining the result, investigation of the result. Investigation of the result is the same thing, as I said. How do things exist in the cause or not? If things exist in the cause, then why need to arose? If it already exists in the cause. If it's not existent in the cause, it's total thing. If it's not existent, then why not arise from the seed of barley, something else, flower? If the barley seeds do not have the sprout of barley, then why not the sprout of a flower, for instance? Same thing is non-existent, isn't it? So this kind of thing, basically. When it is there for cause, is something that is already real, but then what need is there for cause to something that does not exist. So anyway, that is the argument here. The entity existing in the cause, the result already existing in the cause, or not existing in the cause. So when you really examine, then these things you cannot pinpoint, ultimately speaking. So here stanza 150 reads, wandering beings thus resemble dreams, and also the banana trees, if you examine it well, right? So all beings, basically we say chushin hindu, which means like a banana tree. If you really look into banana tree, where's banana tree? If you peel all the layers out, there's banana tree. It's just banana tree. That's when you look into that, nothing to be found in real. This is banana tree, kind of thing. It's like that. When you do not examine, just let them be as they are, and let them appear as they are, so that is what it is. That's better. Everything, if you give an example, everything is like a dream. Everything is like a reflections. They're on the relative level from different causes and conditions arises. And let them be just like that. Let us not grasp at them Let us not cling on to them. Let us not attach to them as something existent out there. As they arise interdependently, as they remain as the dream-like, as the reflection-like, as the mirage-like, let them be like that. When you let them be like that, there's a beauty in them. Just enjoy so much. Giving the example like a dream, if you dream like you are being chased by a tiger, if you do not recognize your dream, if you think that they are real, now they're here, the point is, of course, then you will be terrified. You will even wake up. And after you wake up, you may be shaking. Obviously, in your dream, the tiger never exists from the beginning. It's just your conception thinking that tiger exists out there. That conception drop you crazy, drop you all this nightmare, woke you up. After waking you up, you're shaking. Obviously, that's not a good idea. Grasping. Imagine you recognize a dream as a dream, and then tiger being chased you, and you may be happy to just sit there and play with tiger, ride the tiger, enjoy, fly in the sky as free as birds, all these things. When the recognitions of true phenomena is there, and then all these things happen. Imagine that you understand that everything is interdependently arising. When you examine, there's nothing existent out there, and they remain as a dream and reflections. Your attachment, your grasping mind is reduced really tremendously. Just understanding with that. Just understanding with that. So in Buddhist teachings, when we talk about different vehicles, different levels of stages of realization, all has to do with the level of realization of emptiness. How good you realize the emptiness. First level of realization, emptiness, like simply I, no I exists, selflessness, understanding, selflessness. This is our heart, kind of first level of in Buddhist school we talk about. And in the Mahayana path, as we talk about, 10 different stages, 5 paths, how we label those things, different stages of realization, it has to do with different stages of realization of emptiness. All has to do with this, understanding of reality. So therefore, for us to somehow read these kind of texts and think about emptiness is very important. It gives you to it makes you to think more deeply, basically. So much attribute to be made, for instance, this is good, this is bad, this is beautiful, this is ugly. All these things, our own conceptually make things out. Nothing exists really out there, isn't it? Nothing exists out there. Think about that alone, When you really sit down and reflect on deeply, these things you realize, lots of these things. Likewise, we talk about, for instance, in the Madhyamaka philosophy, talk about, for instance, a water, let's say a glass of water. When this glass of water is seen by, different beings, if you accept that such thing, the 6 different realms exist. In Madhyamaka philosophy, we talk about, this glass of water, the water, God realms, beings from God realms sees that water as a nectar, beings from hell realm sees this as a kind of melted iron, kind of very heat, tremendous heat, or cold kind of phenomena. And for us, human being is something water. So all these different views, seeing these things. And this actually, I've been told that modern scientists also believe that such different objects in terms of color, they see different beings, see different things, right? Well, then if different beings sees one object differently, of course we have this phenomena, we never agree on certain things, right? What I think is good, you think is bad, or something like that. We never agree each other's ideas, good or bad. If you just flip between, when you watch TV, between Fox Channel and CNN China, you will see that how we disagree, to really, not just disagree, but very, against each other kind of idea. But obviously, that's the way how things all these things, in reality, then who's right, who's wrong, all the attributes we met. Seeing things, for instance, now if the water is seen by the hell realm, is that true? Or God realm, is that true? Human realm, is that true? Or the fish, something that swims, that's for fish, water is a kind of place, house. So what is it then, the reality, And here Shantideva is saying that nothing out there is truly existent out there. All these things are interdependently arising. That's a relative truth. Interdependently arises on the relative level. So you just have to enjoy that. Know all things is like a reflection, like a dream. Know things. In reality, on the absolute level, none of these things. When you really search for it, when you search everything from the beginning, how they arise from causes and conditions, even though they arise from causes and conditions, when you examine how they arise, you cannot find it. So like that, when you examine, nothing exists out there. Nothing really, you cannot pinpoint, you cannot establish. That things just arises interdependently. Outer phenomena from cause, from a seed, a sprout, stem, the branch, leaves, fruit, and all interdependent arise. Inwardly, we talk about from ignorance, then 12 links that all chain of reaction, all these things, one led to another. From ignorance, then led to this attachment, that attachment, protecting that attachment to anger, and that anger then protecting these three poisons, then kind of jealousy, then protecting. Based on these three poisons, branch shoot out all kinds of afflictive emotions from these, and all kinds of karma, so on and so forth. Basically, things just continues, inwardly speaking. But all here, Shantideva is saying, nothing is happened to be there from no cause. Everything comes from causes and conditions. Inwardly speaking, all these things. Outwardly speaking, all this phenomena arises. And when they interdependently arose, while you are seeing things, all interdependently remains. Interdependent. It depends on your eyes. Eye consciousness. Eye consciousness depends on eye faculty, and depend on lots of things. Eye faculty, this one whole things belong, depend on other factors. So everything is interdependent. Okay. Now we come to the benefit of realization of emptiness. Okay? The main category, the fourth one. Benefit of realization of emptiness. That starts from stanza 151 through 153. Okay. And now, what is the result of understanding emptiness? And the result here, Shantideva first talks about the equivalence of 8 worldly concerns. Now, first, briefly, what are 8 worldly concerns? All 8 worldly concerns are play of our hope and fears. Based on this clinging mind, we have hope to gain something. Based on this mind, this clinging mind, we have fear for losing. Based on this, we have hope for pleasure, fear for suffering. Hope for praise, fear for insult. Hope for fame, and fear for opposite of fame. Yeah, people saying something bad about you. So these 8 are 8 worldly concerns. 8 worldly concerns are what it is, how samsara is ruled. Samsara is ruled in that hope and fear. All these things. So we usually say the 2 practitioners Sem Chujij Lotang Mandishu, which means may I never kind of base my Dhamma practice on the basis of these 8 holy concerns. 8 holy concerns are very ordinary. Dhamma practice is beyond, more profound than gaining some kind of material, samsaric phenomena. So anyway, 2 practitioners going beyond that, not concerned about holy concern. That's a holy concern. Holy concern. Gain and lose, pleasure and pain, and praise and insult and fame and saying people saying something bad about you. All these holy concerns. Now, what Shantideva here is saying is that when you truly understand emptiness, the nature of things is inherently empty. If you truly understand and meditate on them, then somehow you won't concern too much about these things. Obviously, you won't concern too much. All these are empty. If all empty nature, interdependent arising, you will not make much big deal because your ego grasping, this grasping mind is already reduced. Like that. Okay, okay. Now from stanza 154, the 3rd line. But those who seek their happiness and ease, from here to the end of the chapter is about those who understand emptiness, then they can effortless display of great compassion. If you truly understand emptiness, then you will have a profound compassion to all beings. And now you have here the understanding of emptiness, understanding of natural phenomena. When you look around, you see is that what you see is with so much ego clinging. People have so much ego clinging. The ego clinging on to self that never exists. Now you know clearly. But you know at the same time, all surrounding you, so much ego-clinging mind. From that, so much suffering. And when you see these sufferings, naturally, you have some kind of compassion to them. Likewise, you know that everything is empty inherently, interdependent arising. People not knowing that, grasping on phenomena as if they truly exist out there. And then from there, so much attachment, so much jealousy, and so on and so forth. So much karma has been produced. And understanding that understanding the misunderstanding of beings, you give rise to this genuine compassion. Likewise, sentient beings, for the suffering objects, they think something good objects. Unclean object, they think clean object. That's what usually Buddha taught, see, in a Four Noble Truth. Something that's suffering nature, people think it's not suffering. Something pleasure. Something that's empty, people think it's not empty. Something that's unclean, people think it's clean. Something that's impermanent, transient nature, people cling on to them as permanent nature. Those misunderstandings, then samsaric phenomena continue. The wheel of samsara has been perpetually turned, keep on going. So when you truly understand the empty nature, relative level, ultimate level, everything is empty. On the relative level, everything is interdependently arising. While they are arising, while in the state of relative truth, everything is like a dream and reflections, mirage, like phenomena. When you know these things, and something very profound, it just liberates your mind from otherwise so much rigidity, tightness, whole tight mind is now just loosen up because you understand the natural phenomena out there. When the natural phenomena out there, then this understanding liberates your mind. In fact, Ayadeva, Nagarjuna's student said that even if you have a doubt, maybe real doubt, let alone understanding, realization, even if you have a doubt that there's no self, even if you have a doubt that maybe things in reality empty, that doubt will destroy your samsara. And let alone trying to reflect, trying to understand emptiness, reflect on emptiness. Faith with the devotion, understanding that, believing in Buddha's teachings, So these study, these reflection, these practices are the ways which liberate our minds. Okay. So, now the whole point here is once you have this realization, then the compassion we talk about, the compassion, bodhicitta, relative bodhicitta we talk about. The real relative bodhicitta, not give rise to bodhicitta, but naturally arise bodhicitta. When we talk about how in Mahayana path, we talk about 5 paths and 10 stages. 5 paths, the beginning path is path of accumulation of merit. Path of accumulation of merit has many levels. First level, beginning level, middle level, and advanced level. Beginning level, we call Solam Chunga, small level. How one define that one attain the first level of path of accumulation of merit is that when one give rise to bodhicitta without necessarily effort, with effort generating, but naturally arise. May all sentient beings become enlightened. May all sentient beings be free from suffering. naturally kind of pops up that kind of aspiration, then this is the sign that you attain the first level of path of accumulation of merit. So, real this bodhicitta to happen, one must have the understanding of emptiness, isn't it? Understanding of emptiness is important because when understand the selflessness, then selflessness, empty of self, empty of phenomena, then one can truly generate this genuine compassion. Then one can truly leave behind all the concerns for only oneself. Otherwise, imagine you have so much concern for your own benefit. So where can this true bodhicitta, or the relative bodhicitta, can arise? So understanding of emptiness, emptiness of self, emptiness of phenomena, will actually give rise or make this relative bodhicitta that one's trying to generate by understanding, by realizing this emptiness, make this relative bodhicitta ever more profound. So we call Toni Nije Rinpoche, which means realization of emptiness in itself. That realization has a profound compassion. Again, the reason is look back, and when you look around, then you know how sentient beings have so much misunderstanding. With that misunderstanding, sentient beings ridiculously, in fact, for no reason, simple misunderstanding led so many sufferings. So this comes from realization of emptiness. In our Vajrayana practice, see, in our sadhana, maybe it's irrelevant here to say, but I just thought to say this. In sadhana practice, see, we began first understanding of emptiness in the developing visualizations, self-visualization. First understanding of ultimate nature, emptiness. We call Tejingi thing is samadhi of suchness. That is samadhi of suchness. Kundunhavi thing is that is then from that understanding of emptiness, then you look, and at the same time, and you from that understanding give rise to these compassions, great compassion to all beings, those who aimlessly wander, not knowing this samadhi of suchness, emptiness, wandering sentient beings. Then you generate this great compassion. And this great compassion and then understanding of suchness, emptiness, these two together, compassion and understanding of compassion, this compassion which result from understanding of emptiness, and from these two, then juiting is in the samadhi of sit samadhi, then you visualize your true nature in the sixth level of the deity, whatever deity you visualize, and from that then whole mandala is visualized. Basically, from understanding of natural phenomena, emptiness, then coming to the bodhicitta, the compassions, back and forth thing. So see, again, some cases generating compassion, bodhicitta, trying to visualize, trying to generate compassion, and from that merit comes to understanding emptiness. So what here at the end, what I'm here saying is Shantideva, when he talks, see, as relative bodhicitta, the whole different chapter, and ends with here wisdom chapter, which talks about emptiness. So understanding of emptiness and compassion are linked together all the time. So-called absolute bodhicitta, understanding of emptiness. Relative bodhicitta is conceptual, conceptually generating compassions. So these are the method Shantideva laid out. These are the method, in fact, all the masters of the past. And for us, it's important to think about these, what Shantideva make the argument back and forth thing. And basically, this nothing arises from no cause or different co-creator or, nature interdependent, interdependent arising, all these things, something important to think about. And by the merit of thinking these things, it gives you profound understanding. It yields you profound understanding of emptiness, that which is beyond words. Now, what Buddha, at the beginning, he said, the true nature, the emptiness, really absolute bodhicitta is beyond word, beyond this ordinary mind's grasp. So ordinary mind for us is study and these kind of the stepping stone with which, from which, through which somehow we may come to a different conclusion. That is absolute bodhicitta. And that is in fact the purpose of studying and cautioning, reasoning. All these things has a profound significance. Yeah? Okay, so that completes the wisdom chapter. Now, for the remaining time, let us finish this 10th chapter, dedication, chapter on dedication.
Does anybody want water?
Yeah. Okay. Chapter on dedication. Okay. Now, chapter on dedication. First, I want to say that there's a dedication, there's aspiration, right? Aspiration is like bodhicitta aspiration. You're just making aspiration. Making aspirations. Very, very important, making aspirations. May all beings be free of suffering. May all sentient beings have happiness. May I realize the true nature of phenomena, emptiness. May I have the bodhicitta, true bodhicitta. Aspiration. When it's aspiration, we are not really having anything merit that we accumulated, but simply making aspiration. Here, dedication has to do with something you have merit here. Here, in Shantideva's case, is merit. The whole talking about this 9 chapters, in 9 chapters, lay out whole Mahayana path. So this now, the merit is dedicated. The reason for dedication, we talked about in the chapter on patience, right? We talk about even one single intense anger can destroy eons of merit. So when we discuss about that, what kind of merit are we talking about? Is that merit that is not, sealed by dedication of merit. So dedication of merit is very important to secure your, so to speak, your merit. Here, Shantideva dedicate this merit. May all sentient beings to be free of suffering. All sentient beings have happiness. May all sentient beings attain enlightenment. Until that happens, really, Shantideva's merit will continue. And it is as if, like we say, a drop of water is thrown in the infinite oceans. That water just remains there for a long time. Like that, whatever merit we do, somehow dedicate for the enlightenment of all sentient beings, for the enlightenment of oneself, for a greater purpose, basically, one dedicate. So therefore, merit will be forever secure. So that is the purpose of merit, dedication of merit. So it's important for us, whenever we do something, we dedicate at the end, You dedicate for your own health or wealth or whatever you wish, but you end the dedication for the enlightenment of all sentient beings, for the enlightenment of our soul. Dedicate that. Very, very important. Okay. So here it is. By all the virtue I have now amassed, by composition of this book, which speaks of entry to the Bodhisattva way, may every being tread the path to Buddhahood. That's his dedication. May all sentient beings walk on the path of Buddhahood. So, next two stanza. Now I should say that ultimately speaking, two kind of aspect. May all sentient beings be free of suffering. May all sentient beings to have happiness, right? That's two things that, dedicate merit. Here we are dedicating merit, all sentient beings to have happiness. That's what they wish. The ultimate their happiness is, of course, enlightenment. Until enlightenment is reached, some form of suffering continues. So until reach enlightenment, may all sentient beings ultimately reach enlightenment. Until that happens, all the joy that there is, may all sentient beings have that joy, have that happiness, all the happiness leading up to enlightenment. We dedicate this merit. And from stanza 4, then, basically to all sentient beings, here Shantideva talks about also care so much about lower realms, like hell realms, hungry ghost realms, animal realms, he dedicated the merit, And basically, whoever is suffering, may all beings who are suffering be free of suffering by the merit of these, compositions. This. By the way, composition, it sounds like a bit Shantideva somewhere sat down and talked about, wrote these books. It's not exactly like that. It is said that, I think I mentioned this at the beginning, this was actually the result that Shantideva making himself or authenticating himself as a good practitioner. You remember in the biography, Shantideva said that he was quite not normal. Shantideva is usually considered one of the Mahasiddhas. So a little bit not conventional, At the Nalanda University, all monks just formally, I guess, very formal. Here, a little bit unconventional. So basically, some monks wish him to leave the monastery, so to speak. And in order to do that, somehow they put him on the seat and make him to teach Bodhisattva's path, thinking that he will not be able to teach and he will be embarrassed and he will leave. Something like that. And of course, in real situations, that time has ripened to deliver these teachings for benefit numerous sentient beings, And then they put him on the throne, and then Shantideva start, First he asks, you want me to say something that has been never said before, or you want me to repeat that I have so much in memory, the sutras on sutras. And monks said, something that we haven't heard before. So Shantideva began these teachings. And then Shantideva continue through wisdom chapter. Now I may not find this. There is a point here, Shantideva. There is a point I can't. Okay, here, this point. It stands at 34 in this point. Here it's when something and its non-existence both are absent from before the mind. It stands at 34 in the wisdom chapter. No other options does the latter have. It comes to perfect rest from concept free. So basically, some other translation is, existence, non-existence, neither remain. When none of them is there, for me, for my mind, nothing to grasp, and complete free, concept free, my mind. At that point, in this Shantideva levitated from his seat, and it slowly disappear in the sky with his teacher Manjushri Ghosha. And rest of the dedication chapter are heard from the sky. That's the in the biography. Anyway, I thought to just clear that out. And when I say composition, it sounds like very much, somebody sitting down and talking. Okay. Then continues stanza 51 through 56 is something that, now, last page. We call Ramden Chanchu Chepi Juru Hoa, which means basically now he's making aspiration that all his life may he be a perfect Boddhisattva, all his body, speech, and mind be in the service for the benefit of all sentient beings. Basically, a perfect Bodhisattva. As he described at the beginning, Shantideva said, it is for my own practice. I'm now, saying this to you, right? So basically, he make aspiration that, so here, stanza 55 is that nowadays His Holiness Dalai Lama, quote this a lot, 55 it's, and now as long as space endures, as long as there are beings to be found, may I continue likewise to remain, to drive away the sorrows of the world. Basically, his bodhicitta aspiration is so profound, until all sentient beings liberated. He wished that all lifetime after lifetime remain and work for the benefit of all sentient beings. Shows how he's dedicated, his related bodhicitta is. Stanza 57 is for the benefit of oneself and others. The doctrine, the Buddha Dharma, be remain. May the doctrine only cure for sorrow, source of every bliss and happiness, be blessed with wealth, uphold with veneration, and throughout vast continuance of time endure. Anyway, he make aspiration or make dedication by this merit, the sacred doctrine's source of benefit to be remain ever. And then stanza 58 is somehow remembering his teacher Manjushri Ghosha. Now to Manjushri Ghosha I prostrate, whose kindness is the wellspring of my good intent. And to my virtuous friends I also vow, whose inspiration gave me strength to grow. Okay, that's how Shantideva dedication basically for the benefit of all sentient beings be free from suffering, ultimate suffering, all suffering, cause of suffering. May all sentient beings be happy and enter enlightenment. And he dedicate his merit forever he be a perfect Bodhisattva was. And he make us dedicate the doctrine of these teachings, Buddha Dharma, remain as a source of benefit of all sentient beings. So basically, when we do practice and make sure that we also do the dedications. Okay, now I think we conclude this Shantideva class. Last thing I want to say is that as we begin with this, Shantideva said, "Here I shall say nothing that has not been said before, and in the art of prosody I have no skill. I therefore have no thought that this might be of benefit to others. I wrote it only to habituate my mind." Basically, right? The whole point is to habituate your mind, practice, custom to this Bodhisattva's path. Now, so far, we know so much about Bodhisattva's path, Bodhisattva's principle. Be kind, be compassionate, be loving, be patient. In fact, the patient chapter, see, if somebody asks you, how can I be patient? In life, that's the most important aspect. Well, whole chapter is patient. There's a big answer for that. But as you go through the chapter, it's very, very clear, So we know quite a lot about, effort, of course, samadhi, meditation, wisdom, and basically the whole thing. All we need to do is now to try to apply to one's daily life at all time, try to apply this teaching. That is the reason for studying this text. So I hope my ultimate wish is for that. And I hope this teaching, this overview is really, as I have trouble with my timing, try to explain a little bit, closely, and then I look at my watch, and then watch is not saying it's a good idea. But I hope there's something, this is a brief introduction to you, and based on this, please, go back and read. And I read myself this. I always keep this text, is always with me. And it inspires me, always read. I always read. So please, you do too. Keep always with you. As I said at the beginning, this is the text, really. All the many books you might have read, but the source of all those books you read is this one, as far as talking Bodhi, compassion, Buddhist principle, love and compassion, peace. So I hope you do that. Keep always close with you and read. Time to time, take out from your bookshelf and read. And whatever you understood from this, try to apply these teachings.